Hello everyone, welcome back to another Rosie video. Today we are on a new, or not a new topic, but a topic we haven't talked about in a while, and that is Magic the Gathering. So obviously if you look at my YouTube channel, I'll pull it up real quick, my thing, or, well, maybe it's not. I zoomed in my Google a bunch to like make it easier to see stuff. But as you can see, I've done a lot of Star Wars videos recently. I've mixed in some Magic videos every once in a while, especially a couple weeks ago and stuff. But the majority of my videos recently have been Star Wars Unlimited, which is a game I'm loving right now. I'm having so much fun playing. But my true love, or not necessarily true love, but a game that I've loved for a very long time is Magic the Gathering. So obviously, I want to continue to look at the Outlaws of Thunder Junction spoilers. So all I'm talking about today is the leaders, or not. Oh man, I have been playing a lot of Star Wars. The commanders of the commander precons for Outlaws of Thunder Junctions have just been spoiled. So we're gonna look through all these. I'm gonna give you my thoughts and opinions because I gave you my thoughts on the spoils for the just front or the cover of the boxes and stuff like that, and like what I thought each deck was gonna be essentially. But here we have the actual commanders themselves. And there's been some other cards spoiled, so I might make a second video talking about every card that's been spoiled that isn't just the commanders. So anyway, without further ado, the Mardu commander is Olivia, Opulent Outlaw. She is a one colorless, red, white, and black legendary creature vampire assassin. She's a 3/3 with flying and lifelink. Whenever one or more outlaws you control deal combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. And outlaws are assassin, mercenaries, pirates, rogues, and warlocks. For 3 mana or 3 colorless, you can sack 2 treasures and put 2 1/1 counters on each creature you control. Activate only as a sorcery. Interesting. It kind of seems like she's just the do it all outlaw commander, which is perfectly fine because it seems like every combat you're going to be attacking with an outlaw, and then you're going to get 1 treasure token per combat, and then you can sack 2. So definitely gonna. I mean, Mardu has so many treasure synergies and stuff like that. With white has Smothering Tide, red has a million different ways to make treasure. It also has treasure doublers like Zorn and whatnot. And then black is another treasure heavy thing. Think about like Deadly Dispute is a treasure card that you would run in this deck. Um, it putting 2/1/1 kind of, it just seems like it's going to be a go wide outlaw strategy, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's going to be relatively simple. Obviously, cards in the 99s that come with the Precon could completely change the power level of this, but I think it'll be solid and it'll see play, and a lot of people are going to want to pick up groups, or a lot of people are going to want to pick this deck up. I also think people would suggest this deck to people who are starting, or like friends who are starting the game for the first time. This would be a great deck to. There's not. It doesn't seem like there's any crazy interactions, especially with 1/1 counters in these colors. And then whenever one or more outlaws you control deal combat damage, you create a treasure token. So that the one or more means that um, if you hit with 3 outlaws, you're still just gonna get 1 treasure token. So I I like it. And not every card has to be this crazy, overcomplicated card that does a million different things in a super niche way. It's pretty blanket, or not blanket, but pretty standard effects, and I give it a thumbs up for sure. The next one we're looking at is Stella Lee Wild Card. She's a one colorless blue red 2/4 legendary creature human rogue. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, exile the top card of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. Then you can tap her to copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. Activate only if you've cast 3 or more spells this turn. So definitely just a storm commander. You're going to play as many cards as you can. Probably drop some bombs at some point in the middle of that. And just like, how can you get the most gas out of everything, right? So you'll probably run a lot of cantrips, a lot of 1 drops that draw your card, and so like ops and stuff like that. And I don't really see any reason not to run. Obviously, you could run the what's it called? It's Twin Flame and Dual Caster Mage combo where you make infinite Dual Caster Mages. I mean, why not stick it in this deck? Because both of those cards seem like they would help for this deck. Also, just any cards that are dealt like Reverberate. Is that the card? Reverberate and There's some other cards like Twin Cast or whatever. I might just be making card names up, but anything that's gonna double your spells and or your instants and sorceries, like why not run more of them? So I like it. Super simple. It's definitely feels like an entry level Storm Commander. You're not running Krakashima, right? But that's good because nobody likes playing against that anyway. But yeah, definitely a thumbs up for me. Good job, Wizards. You're 2 for 2 right now on cool commanders. Yuma, Proud Protector. Now, this is the one I was most excited for. I haven't looked at his effect yet, but this is the one I was most excited for when we first saw the reveals of the decks. So, Yuma, Proud Protector. I also love the extended border arts on all of these. Is that how they're coming? I actually didn't double check that. But they look really good right now. Anyway, Yuma Proud Protector is a 5 colorless, red, green, and white 6/6 legendary creature human ranger. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each land card in your graveyard. And remember, that only affects the colorless mana in the cost for him. So he will always cost at least a red, green, and a white. But it also costs less for commander attacks, too. Whenever Yuma Proud Protector enters the battlefield or attacks, you may sacrifice a land. If you do, draw a card. Whenever a desert card is put into your graveyard from anywhere, create a 4/2 green plant warrior creature token with reach. I like that actually. Again, not super complicated, right? It's about lands getting in your graveyard, specifically deserts. Um, I actually was planning on building a desert deck at some point. I wanted to run Hazazon, Shaper of Sands, and I have like a 1/4 of one built right now, maybe a third of one built that I just like I essentially just pulled all the deserts out in my collection, and any card that worked with deserts I pulled out too. And then I was like gonna build it, and then I ended up building a different deck, and then I built a different deck, and then it just kind of got put on the back burner. So I like deserts, and I like that they are getting more support because they're kind of like they were cool, but they weren't ever really powerful and or super, not that they weren't powerful, but they just like they were a 1 or 2 set type deal. They didn't really stick around for very long, and I would have loved to see like I know a lot of set like it seems like every set nowadays they print a dinosaur in it, or every set they print a creature type that is gonna go a goblin, and so even though maybe it's not a goblin focus or a dinosaur focus set, they still get a card that's printed in their types or whatever. And the deserts really haven't had that a whole lot, so I would love to see that for deserts because it is a cool thing to build around. Land, and the reason I say that is because lands don't really get those special things that creatures get, right? The lands kind of get swept under the rug. And most people are going to try and run the best lands, the most efficient lands that they have or can get access to. So why not give people alternatives that aren't necessarily the most efficient way, but are cool, unique ways that they can build their decks around? And that's what I like about deserts. So specifically for this, I love sacrificing stuff too, so this is right up my alley. I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. I don't want to stick too long on it and thinking about deserts and whatnot, but I definitely like the enters the battlefield or attacks effect, so you can keep redoing that effect. But even if you can just get him on the battlefield and he gets removed immediately, at least you got a trigger off of it, right? And then whenever you do it from the graveyard from anywhere, you can create a 4/2. So from anywhere, I mean, you could mill off the top of your deck. Obviously, red, green, and white aren't the colors that you really want to self mill with. It'd be, black and blue is typically what you're gonna do that in. So it's the opposite of that. But I also kind of like that it's outside of the color pie because then you have to get a little creative with how are you gonna get desert cards into the graveyard. Anyway, our fourth and final one. So that's 3 thumbs up right now, right? I haven't seen this card yet. The art looks awesome, but Ganycany Acquisitor is a 2 colorless black, green, and blue 5/5 legendary creature Aetherborn Rogue. Spells you cast but don't own cost 1 less to cast. So this is the one about you are casting Grand Larceny, I think was the name. Oh yeah, it says it. It says it right there. Grand Larceny. You're casting other people's cards on top of your deck, which some people aren't big fans of, but it is a cool mechanic, and I do like that they're building around it. Anyway, spells you cast and don't own cost 1 less to cast. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, look at the top card of that player's library, then exile it face down. You may play that card for as long as it remains exiled, and mana of any type can be. Okay, so you just hit someone, and you get to look at the top card, and you may cast it when it's face down. Then you still have to spend the mana for it, but your mana is any color. So you don't have to build specific colors or find ways to filter colors or anything like that. And it also says whenever one or more creatures, so again, just like Olivia, that only triggers once. But in the way that this is worded, it means you can attack all three of your opponents in Commander. If you're playing four-person Commander, if you attack all three of your opponents, you're gonna get one trigger for each of their decks. So a little more efficient. No, it's the same as Olivia. I didn't catch that earlier with Olivia. Whenever one or more allies you control deal the combination player, so you can get 3 treasure tokens a turn with Olivia. I was wrong about that. I read that wrong. Um, Interesting. That actually makes Olivia a little bit better in my eyes. That's more of a thumbs up. So, and wow, that just like caught me by surprise. Anyway, you're getting at least or maximum 3 triggers unless you have something that doubles abilities and stuff like that. And then getting the spells you cast but don't own cost 1 less. I like that too. It means you're gonna have a higher chance of being able to cast all three of those spells instead of having to pick the best one. So pretty efficient. Honestly, it's a cool deck, and I'm stuttering a lot this video. I'm realizing, but anyway, I'm really excited to see what people do with it. Gonti, yeah, thumbs up for me, man. I am excited. But anyways, let me know down below what you guys think. Obviously, I'm not making all of the connections that you can with these commanders. There's a lot of them are really open-ended, and you could do a whole lot with, which is cool. And I can't think of every card that's gonna combo with them off the top of my head, but I that's 4 thumbs up for me from all these commanders. They're interesting without doing too much, and I like that a lot, I think. But let me know down below what you think in the comments. Besides that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps my channel out a lot. It lets me know that I'm doing things correctly. And, if you're excited for stuff like this too, like I make content over this all the time. I mean, if we go back to my YouTube right here, I'm making a lot. If you like Star Wars, I make a lot of Star Wars stuff. I'm making a lot of Magic the Gathering stuff. I love Magic the Gathering. I love card games. I love video games. So if you like stuff like that too, consider giving me a follow or a subscription, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. Anyway, bye. I'll see you guys in the next video.